This is Chuck Burak. I'm with Jason December. He's the Library Resource Manager with John F. Kennedy University's library. And we're here today to talk about doing library research for the senior capstone in psychology.
Thanks, Chuck. Hello, everyone. This is Jason. I'd like to give you just sort of an overview of some of our great psychology resources that you can use for your capstone. I'm hoping that you have used the library website before. However, I'll show you how to get there just in case. Most people do know I have used the main JFKU website. So we do have a link on that page right here that will take you to our site here. And then once you're there, if you go to this databases tab right here, we have a whole page for specially dedicated to psychology resources. So you click that, and then here we are. And our various psychology and related databases are listed here right in the center. We also have some featured reference sources on psychology that may be good in getting a start as well. And we have a search engine here called OneSearch, which is a way to search all the library book and article resources, although now that I've said all, I should point out that there are some important psychology resources that it does not search. So while it can be a good starting point, you definitely want to move on to the psychology database collection as to go a little bit deeper. So I'll show you both of these things in this video. Let's start with the OneSearch. And let's say we have a proposed topic on PTSD treatment for veterans. We'll just put in PTSD treatment and veterans. And it assumes a Boolean AND between those terms. So it will find items that have all three terms in them, which is what you want. You'll notice here that in OneSearch, it's going to, you have the option of content type to look at journal articles, newspaper, books and ebooks, etc. Also to limit specifically to scholarly materials, which is very useful. In the results list, you can see for each citation what type of source it is. So it'll say journal article, full text online, journal article, etc. If we wanted to start off with books, which you might want to do to get a broader sense of the topic, you can just simply select book or ebook, and then you get, for example, treating PTSD up at the top, and you see the book is available in the main stacks. Always pay attention to dates. That's an important component. Notice that this, being from 1992, may actually be a little older than you want it to do. I don't know if Chuck has particular restrictions, but maybe you want to keep it within the current 10 years or so.
Yeah,
Would you say
that's what we've
right?
been
Okay,
aiming for the last 10 years.
Yeah, and since that just came up, there is a way to slide the date here to weed out anything older than, like, let's say we could get a 2003, and then it'll reset the search with more recent materials.
And sometimes there's important studies that are older than 10 years old, but in terms of the main sources, we want them to be in the last 10 years.
Right, okay. So, so now we're looking at books, and you can see there are ebooks as well as physical books. If you want an ebook, when you hover over the title, you'll get a little summary here. Sometimes a table of contents, etc. And then when you want to read it, you just click Read Online. Once you've done that, if you're off campus, you will have to log in with your last name and student ID number. If we then wanted to look only at scholarly journal articles, which I imagine that is something that Chuck would like you to do.
Yes, especially for our annotated bibliography, we
Yeah.
want all peer-reviewed articles.
So we can just click that, and now we've got things according to the database that would be considered scholarly. I don't know if psychiatric news would normally be on that list, so sometimes you still have to use your own evaluation. And if you're in doubt, you can always ask Chuck too what he thinks of the source, or me. So anyway, if you click on one of these, it should just open up Oftentimes, it's actually linking you out to a subscription-based website. This means this is from the Wiley publisher. And once you get there, you usually have to click something else to get the actual article. So here you have to click here to get it in HTML or get it in PDF. I often would recommend PDF. It's easier to cite because it's actually a scan of the original and will have the page numbers and everything in it. Okay, so is there anything else I should cover on this, do you think, Chuck, or should I move on to the psychology database?
That looks good.
Okay. So this was called OneSearch, and it's a good place to get started. When you want to go a little deeper, you want to use the psychology database collection from EBSCO. This includes the Psych Info Index, which is sort of the gold standard of psychology discipline for psychology research and publications. So we're going to do the same search in here. And in this one, you want to use the boxes that have the ands between them. It's not quite as forgiving as OneSearch. So we're going to put each term in one box. So PTSD, treatment, and veteran. Now,
I have
yeah,
a question.
sure.
You're putting in PTSD. Do you also want to spell it all out, or is the computer able to do the translation?
That's a good question. This will find where it is PTSD. In some cases, they may have it may be built in where it will search for the other term at the same time. Mm-hmm. We'll have to check for that to be safe. One way to do that I can show you once we get some results up.
Okay.
You can look in the record and see what the subject headings are. Another thing I'll do here is use a technique called truncation, where we're going to put a little asterisk after these two terms. And what this is going to do is find not only treatment, but any other word that starts with treatment but has a variant ending. In this case, it would just probably be treatments, and in this case, veterans. So it's a way to get a little bit more out of the search. So clicking search, and here we can see we have a couple thousand results. To answer the question about PTSD, if we click on this first one, well, we can see that it did pull up post-traumatic stress disorder, so that's a good thing. Another way is to look at the subject headings. In this case, it says no terms were assigned, so that's unusual. Let's look at a different one. This one came up for PTSD, and this has subject heading, so post-traumatic stress disorder. So since that comes up under the subject headings for this record in the database, that means that this is the preferred indexing term. Mm-hmm. So what that means is maybe you would do a secondary search using the full term.
So in general, it might be best to spell out abbreviated terms.
Possibly, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something like PTSD is so widely used, that's probably why it pulled up so many.
Right, yeah. It's hard to know when you're starting which one's going to work the best, so it's always good to not settle or get stuck on just one term and try variations.
Yes.
Okay.
So that which is an important tip, actually, to do different variations of the same term.
Yeah, I see a lot of people just keep trying the same one word and not finding anything, getting frustrated with it.
Now, would a difference show up if you hyphenated post-traumatic versus didn't hyphenate it? Would that pull up a different set of references?
Well, we can see. Let's see here. Post-traumatic stress disorder. So let's see, we got 2915. Yeah, that actually seems to have weeded out quite a lot.
Yeah, okay, so it's sensitive to hyphens.
Yeah. We can see the subject heading is that way. I think if we then change this to only search for subject headings, that may narrow it even further, 495. But by doing that, though, it means that when you search this as a subject heading rather than just an optional, what optional means is just searching at the word anywhere. But if you're only searching for the subject heading, That means that the people who created this database have actually assigned that term to the article as an important part of it. So it can be a way to actually get more focused results. Like we originally had almost 3,000, which is good, and now we only have 495. But these could be actually more focused on PTSD than some of the other ones that pulled up.
So the author has decided that PTSD is a significant topic or subtopic within the article, as opposed to that larger database where PTSD might be mentioned somewhere in the article, but it may not at all be a major topic or subtopic.
Exactly, yeah. So that's why it's an important tip to pay attention to subject terms as a way to focus your search. Let's see here. A bit of a warning that some of these limits can be useful on the side here, especially if you want to go to scholarly peer-reviewed only. But I want to warn you away from this full text. It's very tempting because some of the articles won't necessarily have the full text readily available, such as in this case, it's when it says PDF full text, you can just open up the article. In some cases where it says link to full text, it's actually going to check to see if we do have it or not. If you click this, this wouldn't come up at all, and you might miss something that we actually have. Because this means if we do have it, it's not inside this database, it's somewhere else in the library.
That's a really good tip then, because you don't want to narrow it down too much.
Right, so this only knows what's in this database, so I would just avoid that. So let's see as a test, let's see if we can get this one to come up. In this case, it looks like it is going to work. So this linked us out to a different site where you then can download the PDF. So that's why that's such a good tip, because if you had ticked this off, this article wouldn't even show.
Now, sometimes I've noticed in my own research that when I click on some of those links, it brings me to a site where I actually can't get to the article. Does that happen very often, or?
It can. Let's see if I can find one. We may have found a search where we have a lot of the articles. I hope I can find one that doesn't work. That one worked. Let's see. Journal of Traumatic Stress. What's this one?
Well, it's a good sign that all the links are bringing us to places that we can open up.
Yeah. It's one of the rare times I actually want to find one that doesn't work. No, that's working too on the Wiley. Okay. A lot of them are from Journal of Traumatic Stress, and I know we have that one, so. Behavioral Sciences and the Law. No, we have that one too. Try one more and then we'll give up on it.
Okay.
You may, so.
But in that case, let's say, I mean, what would you normally do when you sort of come up with the inability to open up the article? What would you do in that case?
In that case, we have an interlibrary loan service. So the page that comes up, I know a lot of people find it a little bit confusing, but if you read through the page, there's a link that will offer you the opportunity to make a request for the article, and the library will get it for you. And it really only takes a few days, 4 days to a week maybe. So if you're doing a capstone, you don't want to give up on something just because you can't get it instantly. So it's important to just put those requests in, and we'll get you all the stuff that you do need. I'm sorry I wasn't able to find one that doesn't work, but I guess in a way that's a bonus.
Yeah.
So if you do this topic, you're going to be in good shape. Oh, here's one. Perfect. So this is what it looks like when we don't have the article. And I know it's a little confusing. So it starts off just telling you what you searched for. And then it says, sorry, no holdings were found. Please see additional options for finding this source. Request article via interlibrary borrowing. So you would click that and log in to the library with your name and ID number. It'll automatically populate a form with the article that you want, and you just have to give us your email and hit submit, and we'll contact you when it arrives.
That's easy enough.
Yeah. Okay. In some cases, another little thing I want to show you is unlike Google or a lot of other search engines, this database is not ranked by relevance. It's ranked by the most recent article that matches your search. So in some cases I find that students they do a search and the whole first page is kind of, the articles don't look very relevant. So